Welcome back to the second part of Hacking Infinity, the Eschaton. So, have you all picked the look stuff?
I have. I didn't need those drinks. Um,
Nope.
Okay.
I could go. So I'm playing the composition. My gender is shifting. My body is multiple. My eyes are observant, and my clothes are utility.
Cool.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So, does does each body look different? Uh,
Um,
or
I think
is
they're
there like
very similar.
okay.
I think they're like how siblings like a couple of years apart would look very similar, but they could be different skin tones or different races, but their physicalities have to match just for cohesion. Like if you think you're 6'2" and you reach for something and you're in the form of a 5'1" person, like each cluster that's sent out looks more like each other than like the mass of people. So there's the center hive, and there can be all sorts of humans or metahumans in it, but the people who are sent out as to do a job, or if you're a certain, like if you're gonna go to a meeting and you have like 12 of you, they try to match the physicality. Like the less minds there are to compensate for the physical differences, the more similar they have to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, so
Picking on my look stuff.
uh, so the next thing to take a look at while you finish up, Adam, is faults, uh, and there is a list of those, or should be. Uh, Maybe there is not. Um,
There's a
okay,
list in the
so
doc.
so yeah, there's a list of those in bio and info. Um,
hmm
so be sure to pick one now, and during play, at least in the back of your mind, think about a second one. You can take a second one at any point uh, any point in the first session, and uh, by the end of the session, I'll if I don't forget, I'll ask you to pick a second, and then sometime after that you can pick a third. Um, so and I guess I have a little bit of a spiel about faults. Is I'm thinking of changing the title of them to like challenges or something like that. In that some of them reflect just like a neurodiversity, like anxiety. Uh, Overall, it makes life more difficult, but there can be upsides to it. It can make one more aware of oncoming issues where most
hmm
people would just like let it go for a bit and then walk into disaster. Uh,
hmm
You could say it like quirks.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I picked all of my look things and my faults, so I can kind of. I'm ready to talk about those.
Okay. Go for it.
Um, my name is Atalaska. My gender's ambiguous. My body is technical. My eyes are animal eyes, and my clothes are flowing. And my fault is that I am superficial.
Nice. What kind of animal?
I was thinking like maybe like feline sorts of eyes, like slitted and like very bright golden colored.
Nice.
Like I don't think glowing, but like maybe reflects light a lot, maybe iridescent slightly.
Okay. Your body is tentacled.
Mhm.
Tell me about that. Are you tentacular mass, or is it like close to humanoid body with some tentacles added, or
Yeah, that's the
something
one.
complete? Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, senpai.
Mhm. And I don't even know that these are like um, organic tentacles either. I think they're probably like uh,
Doc Ock style.
say that again.
Doc
Doc
Ock
Ock
style,
style.
where you've got a brace and they go out like utilitarian.
Oh, I was thinking more so like energetic.
Interesting.
Like some of these might be like I imagine a lot of them are like in a frill that's like around my head and reaches out into the mindscape.
Cool. Um, so are they pretty much just clustered around your head, or are they how are they distributed?
Mostly clustered around my head, and then maybe one um yeah, maybe one that on each hand, like coming out of the palm, maybe.
Okay. Cool.
Let me look at these pictures.
Yeah.
It's not important. It's before you said the head thing. So
I do like this picture though.
I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the Twitch chat opened on my laptop, so no one will ever see it.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Isn't it adorable?
It is.
I love it.
I was trying to find there's a certain kind of stuffy that I know that's the cat head with the octopus body. It's real cute, but this is acceptable.
The cute kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And, so, Spook, do you want to go over yours?
Yeah, sure. So my gender is mandrogynous, where it's like nearly androgynous, but just a little bit over. For body type, I went with like metahuman because, you know, 2 arms, 2 legs, that kind of thing. My eyes are insectoid. I've got like a little bit of an insect vibe going on, and my clothes are formal.
Interesting. So, I just have this picture in my head of someone with these large, multifaceted eyes and a tux.
Yeah, I guess in terms of like my body type, if you look at like my avatar in Roll20, that's like my initial inspiration. And then in kind of like dress, if you think of like, I don't know if anyone's ever played Blaze Blue, but less like tuxedo. I mean, it has the same kind of thing. It probably has like lapels, but more like sort of long, needless bits and loads of like profundant flappy bits and like extra sleeves and stuff. So yeah, in that kind of thing, but then like sort of pushed to the dialed up to 11.
Like a lot of goth clothes have like they go down too far and have like the ripple of the cloth, and they have like extra sleeves or
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's probably like some
but like
like
a structured military
Yeah, and it's probably like there's probably like quilting on a lot of it, and like maybe like a rich velvety kind of feel. Lots of like purples and very like sort of rich colors.
Embroidered velvet, which is impossible.
Exactly. Quilted velvet.
Quilted embroidered velvet.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I think next up is picking moves.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that of course is playbook dependent. Does anyone want to go over that first?
I feel like almost I should, since I'm the citizen, and a lot of my moves include like naming a world and things
Sure.
like that. So
Okay, so yeah, you get World Ruler straight
Mhm.
out, and then there's essentially a choice of one of two others,
Mhm.
um, and that pretty much defines your. That goes a long way towards defining, uh, like your style as a citizen, whether it's like it's this preserve that could be really fucked up, or actually, a fun place to visit, but it is where you're taking like active control to make sure that it fits this a specific fantasy,
Mhm.
or whether it's more of a very democratic and or where meta society is happy about what you're building there.
Sure. I think it's kind of interesting if I pick barbaric control.
Okay. Uh,
I'm
cool.
primarily making that choice because meta society approval seems like the kind of move that I would normally pick. So I want to pick against my own first instinct.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, moves for the citizen are really straightforward.
Hmm.
Who's
And
next?
then I have to name
Oh
the
yeah, so
planet.
let's yeah, I mean we will go into more detail about your world,
Sure.
uh,
Yeah, let's come
but
back to
if
it.
I mean if you have a I mean if you have a name in mind,
I do not have a
okay,
name in mind yet. I will soon.
okay, so you can start on that, and then the uh, on the Roll20 screen, there's or move way in. Uh, there's sort of a layout of planets and moons. Uh, uh, Obviously, not to scale, but to give an idea of where in a where in the solar system that they might be. You can pick one that appeals to you. Um, Gotta. So yeah, once you do come up with a name,
Mhm.
be sure to grab one of those planets and put that name on it.
Okay. Go to someone else because I'm going to take care
Yes,
of that
yes.
while other people are taking care of their own things.
Uh, so, Spook, Dazer, do you have a?
Yeah, I think I'm good to go. Um, so I get troop commander is like the one I start off with, and then I'm slightly torn between battle hardened and negotiate from a position of strength. And I guess I was just wondering uh, what the term direct conflict is. Is that basically just as in I am rolling against someone one on one, as in purely personal, or does that also work on like a larger scale?
Uh, direct conflict is only on a larger scale. Uh, there's a set of moves called organization moves, um, and those involve like essentially units of people and are for large scale things. Um, there's a separate move for fighting personally that is called use force.
Okay. Um, hmm. I'm going to take the negotiate from a position of strength then. That's
Okay.
my second one.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, and then for Adesa, for your composition, um,
Yes.
yeah, you get many bodies, one mind, and then pick one more.
I picked multiple viewpoints, and also my flaw I think is idealistic.
Okay.
I keep thinking of the people leaving, even though they're going on jobs, as like Rumspringa, like they're excited to go out into the world and be away from the mind. Like there's still a component of like treasuring individuality, even though it's in a smaller group. So when they have the chance to be part of a smaller knowledge base, it's exciting because they don't. It's like being away from the internet for a weekend, terrifying, but some fun could happen. Um, so I was trying to think. I didn't quite want to do something like childish, but I'm not sure if idealistic is soft enough. I think fanciful. Do you think idealistic or because they still have a job to do? Like they're still out on a job.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, okay. I think that idealistic connotes like at least in degree, a specific ideology of like how you think the world should work. Uh, whereas fanciful um, has more of a connotation of uh, you uh, uh, perceive things in a way that they aren't necessarily where that they aren't necessarily. It could be as uh, it's a watered down delusional.
Okay.
And then
Like our way is best in the outside world is like this one thing, even if it's not. So when they go out and they interact with people, it's like oh, everyone from outside the hive is like alone and confused, and like it brings someone back. um or like everyone in the city is always living like fancy, like freewheeling capitalist lives, even though that's not what it is. Or is that more of a just
I think
a view of how they have?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to read into it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Whenever I think of fanciful, I think of like traipsing around in a meadow with unicorns. So it's
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but my moves are many bodies, one mind, and multiple viewpoints.
Okay. Yeah, another option that might fit in there would be naive.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I think naive would work because whenever they come back to the hive, they lose whatever. Well, they take the information that they need. So I think I'm gonna go with idealistic, just because it'll cover the, oh, this is what our way is, and oh, you're doing it this way. Well, okay, but I mean, we're better, but sure. It'll cover that certain bit of cockiness that I can.
That's the wrong way, but choose your own.
Yeah, it's like you can do your own thing, but I mean, we both know you're wrong. Yeah. Okay, I'll stick with idealistic then.
So next up is picking a stat block. That is probably straightforward. Yeah, especially if you've played other Powered by the Apocalypse games. You just pick one of those lines.
I went for not having any negatives. I just went like pretty even keel. I was thinking for a second about going for a negative and badass, and then boosting my synthesis and my focus up. But I feel like my character isn't like not experienced with those things, just not particularly.
It's not really their focus.
More even, yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah.
I just felt like that bit.
Okay. And then that below that you pick up stat block. There's a base woofie. You can fill that in now, or wait till you pick the descriptors for your organization, which will often modify that. And don't worry about fortune for now. It's a drive characteristic.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, Spook, where are you on picking a stat line block? Do you have?
Well, I gotta tell you, Brad, been looking at these stat lines for like a week, and it's hard. I don't know if it's like a thing where it's like it's meant to be a really hard decision, but this has been like, it's so hard. I mean, I have picked one. I'm not crazy about it. But yeah, I've got one. I have a stat line.
Okay.
Would you like to know which one it is?
Sure.
It's the Focus 0, Suave 1, Badass 2, and then Synthesis -1. I definitely knew I wanted to tank Synthesis, but then when you really like all the other three, but you don't have the 1/1 -1 that you want, or the 1/1 -1 that you want, but difficult decisions are good because they create fun.
Yeah, like I didn't set out to make the choices difficult, but I have to say that I'm sorry, not sorry that it turns out to be a difficult decision.
The correct answer. So yeah, Focus 0, Suave 1, Badass 2, and then Synth -1.
Okay. So do be sure to fill that out, the character sheets. Okay, cool.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
For my world move type thing, it says name your world. By default, your world has the following. Is that a choice, or is that a list of all the things that my world has?
So you you start off with all of those things. Under your world has the following. You get all of those, and then farther down you'll get a choice of extra things that you get to label on top.
Yep. I picked my environmental challenge. I'm going for high radioactivity.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten to the part below that yet.
Okay.
But soon. I will consume that as well.
Okay. Uh, oh yeah. Yeah. Probably the next thing that's going to come up is choosing a surplus and a need.
Mhm.
And those are listed in the handouts under surplus and need, and they all have like
Okay.
game effects. So they start off not active. There's a role that the force commander and citizen have to make at the beginning of every session to see whether things are going really well or really poorly. And then there are moves that can activate them, add more, yada.
Perfect. I see a surplus that I want. Scientific inquiry. That seems to touch on what I'm interested in. As for a need, infiltration. Infiltration sounds fun.
Okay. So, do you have any ideas of who might be keeping an eye on you, or trying to sneak into your society, or do you want to keep that?
I think I have a loose idea that we can fit into things as we go along. I think there might be some sort of intelligence agency that I haven't been complying with. Like, I haven't been actively reporting on what I'm doing on Labra, which is the name of my world. And now I'm probably going to be audited soon, or like roundabouts. They're just going to send people to my planet and see what we're doing here with the Sitches. Maybe I'm being very secretive about like information, like scientific information.
Mm-hmm. Like you're on the edge of something that could be disruptive, and they're keeping an eye on how that plays out.
Possibly. It might be something more like we're using this planet as, because we have as like an environmental hazard that the planet is extremely radioactive. This might be the result of certain experiments that we've been doing here.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we're like we're doing like we're trying to generate nuclear energy in like an unlicensed sort of way, and in a way that's not like properly done through the proper channels. Does that seem like it's in a good sphere, or does it conflict with certain assumptions about the setting, or what do you think?
Well, I think if I think that in most situations you'd be left alone to mess up your own environment if you wanted to.
Sure thing.
But there's certainly, we could come up with scenarios in which there might be.
Like maybe you weren't supposed to explode that other planet to make a beautiful sky for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you're messing up your system because you want that certain color glow that a radioactive sky gives you.
Yes.
Like it's all about aesthetics for you.
Uh-huh.
That,
So
or
let's talk about this on the map. You see that green planet? That's my old handiwork. This is my new handiwork.
I see. Yeah, messing with somebody else's planet, or even one that isn't inhabited now, but there's like plans to do something with it. That could generate some interest.
There are definitely people who have like environmental concerns, like because sure, we have more planets. This is not the only planet, but please stop messing up every planet. We only have so many of them.
Stop going to other planets that aren't yours. Like, don't play with other people's toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like just messing with your own. There could certainly be like an agency that may not have like full that may not be like completely authorized by Meta Society to keep an eye to keep this thing locked down, but it's like a grouping of people who have sort of a intelligence background that have strong feelings about you messing
like
with
Space
your own
PETA?
citizens. I'm sorry?
Like Space PETA,
Yeah, for sure.
but for planets.
And
That
I
is for
definitely
sure a
didn't
thing.
have
Yeah.
like because Green Planet was not my planet.
Used to be Purple Planet.
It's just the wrong shade. Something needed to be done.
I like the idea that my character's an artist with planets. Yeah. This is very good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing you were very excited about too. The like the sky being just really cool.
And now that's my entire focus.
And eventually you have to
it.
change your desktop background, so you just go to a different planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Confusing metaphor. So
I like it though.
I'm just thinking like desktop background as in like you have like a desk that's like by a window and you look out the window and it's your desktop background.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could get a different like a monitor. Like it's super easy to change what, but you would know. You would know it's not. You know.
Yeah.
You want the authentic experience.
And we're getting to that point where it's like humanity had to jump between like, oh, now we can have like videos of things everywhere because our ability to store data has exploded. Now we're done with videos because it's too confined. Eventually, every single video must be repeated at some point. And we're looking for like the infinite like media source or whatever.
Yeah, like some people's like if they have computers, whatever that may be, and they have like back in the day we had like, oh, your screensaver was moving fish around. Instead they have like an entire virtual reality simulation so that it never repeats itself, just behind their icons or whatever they happen to be using in the far future. Yeah.
And now we're bored of even that because it's programmed to follow rules.
Yeah. And you can't interact with other people's backgrounds. What's up with that?
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
Has everybody picked surplus and need?
I'm still on structures and holdings.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on it.
Yes. He said with an uncertain tone.
So confident.
Okay, so for your structures and holdings, it sounded like you were actually, I guess I don't know. With probably not a unified neuroarchitecture.
Oh no, mine's I picked self-organizing for that. It's manual. It's like you can still live on this planet and not be connected, but it's kind of like, why would you be? Yeah, it's very like homeowners association style pressure to like link up regularly if you're on planet, and they're like, oh, you haven't yet? Oh, okay. And then like everyone gives you the stink eye. Like it's very suburban.
We're a little concerned that you haven't linked up in a while.
Yeah, are you feeling okay? Like if like the longer you go, the more like untrustworthy you become. Like, oh, there's a reason that you haven't linked up. Yeah. And I am picturing like everyone can like you can have your own like memories and stuff, but at any time you can access everyone's memories. So if you're hooked up and you're not on a job.
Yeah, I could see people coming along. We have somewhat some concerns with your let's just call them memory
Latency
property
errors.
values. Yeah, latency errors. You know, the mental integrity property values need to be maintained.
Exactly. It's like your insurance premiums will go up because they can't insure your memory backups, and yeah, it's a lot of paperwork. It's not great. You might as well just do it. Yeah.
We honor individualism, but individuals are erratic.
Yeah, individualism is a unique experience. Like you go on vacation for a weekend and then you come back and you log in. Yeah. So it's not like when a group of people come back, like everybody gets like immediately access to that, but it can be like it can be broadcast, like memories can be tweaked. But there's a very thin veneer of individuality, but it's thin.
Okay, so and you were you picked a stat line for your for the composition. Okay, or for your organization.
My stats. No, not for my organization. Like that's I think it's going to be influence 0, control 1, morale 5.
Okay.
Because that fits the yes, individualism to a point.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very like you go there to be you wouldn't be there unless you wanted to join the hive, and if you're there and you're not joining the hive, then what are you doing here? Like it's
not gonna throw you out, but
yeah, you can't go to this grocery store anymore. So I did that.
Okay.
Influence control is
okay,
and I can just put that in the there it is.
So of the choose 3, were you doing were you picking your own a planetary body of your own, or do you want to share?
I think I have to have my own planet.
Okay.
Just to keep the network secure, because if there's like other people bleeding in a regular basis, I think that would be concerning for people who are very about keeping their memories together. Like there's like it's like 2 ant hives next to each other, and you're like,
no,
thank you. So I would have a planetary body, and it says minimal infrastructure. Does that mean like roads and buildings and cities, or can I have all my build concentrated in one spot and the rest of the planet is kind of like left to its own devices?
Essentially, sure, there can be enough like infrastructure to get by and live relatively comfortably, but the it wouldn't be the extravagance of like a core world where
Sure.
yeah
Okay.
where there's like um, like a body shop on every block,
Sure.
you know, and like everybody has cornucopia machines. It's like they're
Okay. Well, I definitely want a cornucopia machine.
okay.
I definitely do that just for I think for continuity, like it's very oh, when you get here and you join the hive, like you all get clothes and houses and like there's if you've ever seen like shots of the suburbs from like up top, it's just like the rows and grids of houses that are all slightly different shade. Um, there are like sections of the world that are just like that, but like the size of Rhode Island. Um, yeah,
Nice.
this is where you go to do this job. My third thing. Um, you can talk to Spook, and maybe
Okay,
Spook could
yeah.
tell you about their person a little bit. And I can, like,
Sure. Let's do that.
Hi.
Hi.
Let's see. Where were we last? My fault is self-loathing. I don't know if we'd mentioned that.
I did see that and spot on.
So in terms of the stat line, I went with influence -1, control 2, and morale 4.
Okay.
For surplus, I went with scientific inquiry, and with need, I went with obligation. That sounds like a lot of fun. For descriptors, I went with communist theocracy, which I think is about right because it's kind of like a weird, creepy, collective cult kind of thing. I mean, I would probably, yeah. I mean, I think we sort of understand what I mean by those.
Yeah.
and
We
then
haven't talked about organization descriptors yet, and yeah, I think it's sort of one of the more interesting spaces, you know, within the game. Um, so, communist theocracy.
Hi there.
Yeah.
So the idea of that is that everyone in the sort of private military group or cult is a sort of clone of me with a specific point of my memory loaded in from a sort of older version of me when I did truly believe in like a higher being before I'd sort of lost my faith, and so they're all clones of me that still have the belief, but I don't actually believe anymore, and I sort of know that the whole thing is fake. So I'm sort of pulling one over on myself or vicariously finding God for myself. Who knows? Pick your favorite. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean by communist theocracy. That it's sort of ruled by the religion, and I'm the space pope. Space pope, and that everyone is, everyone's in on it, unless they find out that I'm a dirty liar and try and murder me, which
happens from time to time.
Yeah. So I remember you talking about before we all got together. Some backstory where you had been part of this cult, and then sort of as you lost faith, had like this broke away from it very violently. Is that still the case?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
murdered my way out of that situation. Yeah, and then in terms of holdings, I actually had a mechanical question for you, which is about what an autark is.
Oh, so that's sort of the middle class. It's every full member of society who has not yet gained citizenship status.
Okay, so if I was like going for the flavor of like my group being like sort of a small elite kind of thing rather than like a mass troops, do you think your core membership is composed of autarks holding would play into that?
Um, yeah, yes. Okay. So, yeah, the thing about autarks is they tend to be more, a little bit more self motivated. than just like random denizens of your world. They tend to know about outside society. Um, but in terms of the fiction, they're definitely more competent.
Hmm.
Um,
And it sounds like it would be more problematic for me as well, so I think I'll totally take that.
okay, cool.
And then I've got one left, which is I was thinking about. It says, I can take an asset with a cost up to 7. I don't know how you feel about this, but I was wondering if, I'm trying to like build this, god in my basement, and I was wondering if I could have that asset worth of 7 of basically saying I've reached that so far. That's how far along I am in building a god in my basement. I have a up to cost of 7 along the way. I have a box in my basement that's got 7 Wuffy worth of god in it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Cool.
Or if you wanted the uh, if you wanted that nascent god to be defined as a mech, which is I think a cost of 9, you can totally, as we talked about before the show, um, just make a roll for it,
Mm.
and probably fail, but it's okay because you still uh, uh, it's still possible to get the thing only with problems.
Sure, sure. So
Either way,
yeah, I'm probably going to go down the something you'll hear a lot from me, which is like, why not both? So could we have it that the asset worth of 7 is like the brain, and then the mech that I'll try and roll for will be like the body?
sounds good to me.
Cool, brilliant. Then I'm all good on holdings and stuff.
Okay,
Thank you.
oh, no problem. Uh, Adam, where are you on?
Yes.
I am curious where you're leading on organization description.
I am ready to do bonds, which means I'm pretty far along.
Okay. So,
As far as the, go ahead.
talk to me about your organization description.
Let me take a look again. Basically, the short of it is that I decide how everything goes on a whim, but I'm going to take care of my people. Also, um, we're not particularly insular, and we have an open society that where people know about meta society and things like that. I haven't shut down
Okay.
and put a wall around this world, around Labra.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Uh, that juxtaposition of like you distribute resources freely, and everybody gets access to information, but what you say goes.
Yeah. No matter how crazy it might be.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. I like it too. I generally overall see my organization as being kind of like a very poorly defended sort of thing, but like a nice place to be most of the time, apart from the radiation.
Yeah. What's a few rads?
My organization stat that I chose were I have +2 influence and +1 control, but I only have 2 morale.
Whee!
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. And okay, so you named the planet Labra, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, do you have a name for the planetary government, or maybe it doesn't have one. Maybe it's just like, well, this is Labra. This is it's,
Yeah, I think it's the government of
everything's done
Labra.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we really have like a lot of cultural diversity on this planet. Like, I don't think we've even colonized this planet that much. Like, we probably have like one small settlement and like little satellite colonies from it. So people haven't really gotten a chance to like dig down into their own niche. And I suppose you never really get to with the mindscape being around and things like that, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, like the internet, it can absorb 100% of your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I for my 4 choices that I don't really have a name to say what these choices are, but I think you'll be familiar with them.
Mhm.
Uh, 2 of these I spent on having a good wormhole gateway so that people can come in and out. And I think I'm going to have it be a secure wormhole.
Okay.
And I have 3 to 5 autarks that I can't use my world ruler move on. So they're already here. They run themselves.
Mhm.
And considering our situation, you have enough unarmed spacecraft to evacuate the whole population because that might be useful at some point.
You never know.
Yep.
Radiation sickness and all that.
Yep. So at least I have an escape plan, kind of. I mean, it would have been nicer if I had chosen armed spacecraft, but that's nah,
Eh.
nah, nah.
And if it truly looks like fighting is on the horizon, you can go out and
Yeah.
buy some arms for your spacecraft. Theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
We have very reasonable rates. Affordable security. Inexpensive security.
Have you met our god though? Needs to be socialized.
Have you heard the word of our Lord and Savior Cthulhu?
They think they're people. Awesome.
Hey, cool. So, Dazer, how are we doing?
You're muted, question mark?
I was muted. That is true. That is a true fact. Got past me. I just figured out that organizational descriptors were in a handout off to the side.
Oh, yes.
Because I kept hearing you guys mention things. I'm like, I don't see it in the handout.
Where are these coming from?
What mysterious hidden place? Oh, slightly to the right. Oh. So I don't have surplus or need yet because I don't know what of which, if any, I need to pick. But I have for my organization descriptors city-sized, egalitarian, and I don't think I'm Unocracy, even though I am like a hive mind. I think the veneer, I don't know, like as I've described
I mean,
it's the
so
veneer
far,
of individualism.
Like, there's a little bit more individualism than a unocracy would have.
Yeah. But cyber synacy? is that ruled by a secluded data-fed group on a basis of facts only? That's not memories, though. I think open society fits really because we're always leaving and coming back. Like we're sort of like information gatherers. So I'm going to go with that one.
That makes sense.
That's what I was leaning towards most, and I haven't found anything that fits better. But I can't resist outside influences. No. My morale.
That'll never come into play.
Let you say that. I think it will come into play. Yeah. So where do I, or in which way do I know if I have surplus and needs, or where is the thing for that? Did I skip over that sentence in my description?
I'm sorry?
Oh, surplus and needs. I don't know if I have to do that because I have a planet or people. Do I have to do that for everything?
You do have surplus.
Yeah. Okay.
There is one playbook that doesn't have to take a need,
Okay.
but I think it's intelligence.
As I scroll down, where would that be in my description? I just feel like I've skipped over that sentence, and I just don't.
Yeah.
Description holdings. Oh, choose a surplus.
Okay.
Here it is.
Yeah.
A surplus, a need, and 2 organizational descriptors, which I did the descriptors, so I need a surplus and a need. Mm-hmm. So, my surplus is vacation destination. Because people go here, and it's sort of sometimes in sci-fi they have the thing where you can like relive people's memories as a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like that. Like there's a section of this area where you can shop for certain memories. You don't get access to everything because that you have to be a member to do that. But I think I like having that be a thing since we're more about memories and not just data. And
I could see how that might be a bone of contention with Adam's character.
I'm sure it's fine. It'll be fine. And my need will be obligation. Seems to make sense. Like I have to take care of the people. Like that's the agreement. Okay, if I'm not constantly working to make this what they expect it to be, like it's a sort of like we all agree that this is what we expect out of everything. If I'm not working towards that during this session,
the rulers don't fulfill the social contract.
Yeah,
things can happen.
So it says when activated, you must during this session complete a long-term project. Does that mean every session I have to complete a long-term project?
No.
Okay.
Only once in a while will your need actually get activated.
Okay. Yeah, because I think, or nationalism, but I don't know. They seem a little more. Nationalism, it calls to me.
Yeah. Why haven't you taken nationalism already?
You're right. So it says when activated, your organization immediately makes a move of the MC's choice upon another organization. So it forces me to make a move.
It sort of fits with the group that's is a composition that is led by someone who is idealistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we have that whole we are better. Yeah, we have that. It's either I guess I have to choose between making it more insular and like about certain people, or making it more like, oh, bring in more people and more influence on the outside.
Yeah.
That is a hard choice.
I think
will.
either definitely fits and works.
I think I like nationalism because the way I've described my place is sort of like a utopia thing where everything sort of seemed to already. I'm gonna go. Oh, so nationalism's just fun to say. Nothing can go wrong with nationalism. And I can keep making those jokes the whole time. So. I don't even do anything for a joke. Yeah, running gags? Absolutely. I'll wreck my character in Civilization for that. Sure.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. And so I did that, and then I have my holdings are I have a planetary body, I have the basic cornucopia machine, and then I have I think all my member bodies are armed with a piece of gear worth up to 2 wuffy.
Okay.
So when they do jobs, they can be prepared.
So if you look under assets, you can pick something.
Oh, that handout off to the
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Nice. So convenient and well organized. Be a fool not to see it.
On that note, is it the same asset for all members, or?
Oh.
I think it is.
Nice.
That was my thinking.
Okay.
But I mean, if that messes you up, definitely if it messes you both up, then it doesn't have to be that way. I don't feel super strongly about that, and I hadn't thought about it that much.
I mean, my idea was that this is, I guess, more of a fluff thing, but that they're of the different clones of me, different ones would be sort of melded with different insects, and so there might be, say, flying ones who have the flying thing, or spidery ones that have like the spindle, and so on and so forth. But I can just pick one if you want them all to be the same.
And it has to be something that's 2 rep or lower for
Yes.
my particular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, just because that's cool, sure.
If it's cool, all right.
Yeah, for sure. Real cool, right? So yeah. Let it be individual, but it all has to be like insect flavored.
That is
Insect
that's very fair.
A little bitter, but crunchy. So I have to move past. So difficult. So, and it also says a piece of gear, which means I can't have like 2 1 pieces.
I
have to have 1 2 piece. Okay. I think everyone has a hard suit. Yeah. Micrograph, jets, 1 armor. Because it's the thing that's the most useful. And then I could have, when I was picking the planet stuff, extremely dangerous flora and fauna, and then high seasonal temperature variations are the things I went with.
Okay.
So it would give them armor against the dangers of just being outside the city, and also like body temperature modulations. I know the word.
And sort of plays into the thing where groups go out and explore.
Yeah, and they can travel, and yeah. Just like a bunch of them just like leave the planet. Yeah. Sounds like that.
Okay. So Before we go on to bonds, I want to make sure that everybody has a name for their character, and I should fill that name in on screen. So, Adam, yours was Adalaska, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll change the name of my character sheet to that. How about that? Ooh, I'll change my display name in Roll20 as well. Ooh.
Righty. And Dazer, was Quasi your character's name?
No, that was somebody else doing the thing.
That is I.
Some meddling outside force.
So, Spook, is Quasi your character's name?
Yeah, that's me. I am Quasi.
Okay.
Quasi.
Quasi.
Okay. I mean, I tend to like just write it down and then wait for someone else to say it out loud and then go with that. So. It's Quasi.
Quasi. I think.
Mm.
I'm just sitting gravy. I've got all of my stuff done, I think.
I think I do too.
What's your
Don't
name?
tell the boss. My name is Erethan. I panicked, so I just picked a name I've been using forever. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever play with me in Guild Wars, it's the last name on all of my characters. Most of them, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
I think.
Okay. How is that spelled?
Erithin. Yes.
Okay. So, I think we're ready to do bonds. Yes.
I think so.
All right.
Spook, what are
I
you
think
doing?
it sounds.
I love
looks,
it.
Yeah. It really looks like you want to start.
No, I don't want to start. Just bonds is it's a good.
Very excited.
Just excited.
Yeah.
Other people can go first. It's fine.
I am so happy. Yeah.
I just started a D&D, one of the Chult variations last night, and I'm like, okay. And I started doing like listing off bond type questions, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's really think about our characters. And I was like, yeah. How did you almost die? Who left you for dead? No, yes.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so does anybody want to go first?
Fuck it, I'll just go first then.
Yeah, do
okay.
it.
So I'm going to go with Erethin knows my secret that I'm a charlatan and there is no god in the basement.
Whoa.
And we do two, right? We do like one for each. Is that correct? Or is it just one? One.
Yeah,
we go-
it is such that everybody has has some sort of bond with somebody else. Let me see. It's
What should our procedure be for this? Should we go around twice, or each person picks two, and we go around once?
let's go around once and one at a time. So for on that secret,
Perfect.
Aerothin, how did you find out that that Quasi
Oh,
was fraud?
his clones are starting from a place of belief, and I think at one point one of his people, or a few of the people, fell out of that belief and made the discovery, and then left his space and came to me, and now are part of my people. But there's also like there's the massive hive, and then there's like those clusters, but like further in the hive there's like not everyone can get everything. So things like spooks information, or things like that would cause a disruptive influence in our community are kept in a secure space, safe for those who need to know, or really determined, who show full commitment to
Yes.
Sparkle Motion. Yeah. Okay.
Only the inner circle need know.
Yeah, I'm like anyone can come see it. It's just there's so much paperwork. I don't even know why you would bother. Like it's all very like I don't know, but it's very very structured for as aloof as they seem.
So, do you want to, Aerothin, do you want to go ahead and pick a
Okay.
bond with
Okay, so
Alaska?
does this mean I have to pick one that says asymmetric or either, or
It can be
reciprocal? Okay.
and
Or any of the above.
Okay, yeah, just be any of them. Okay.
Yep. If you need more information to help you decide, please feel free to ask.
Okay. And I'm picking this for Quasi or Adalask. Like we're going
Adalaska.
around, like we're bridging. Okay. Okay. So you're about aesthetics. Yeah. Could you like if there's more information, like or a collection of facts I would know about you, that'd be handy. Since it's been pretty spaced out.
Yeah, sure thing. I think my biggest, what would you call it? Like, my biggest scandal has to do with the situation where I destroyed a planet that doesn't belong to me.
Mm-hmm. You ruined another child's toy.
Mm-hmm. If you need more, ask more.
Yeah, no, I think you have something I covet, and I think it's the ability to change your world to fit your want. Like there's a terraforming machine that would balance the temperature changes that I deal with that I just can't get.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it, but like I've been unsuccessful as of yet to get plans for it or.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'll put that.
really like this X lever one. My eye keeps getting drawn to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, before you pick that, why are you uninclined to share your terraforming skills with
Oh,
Aerith?
okay.
Is it because my planet's so boring looking? Sorry, I'm caught on athletics.
I think it's
Other than the fact that they're already a tourist destination. Well, not
I think it's
necessarily.
because I'm so terribly self-absorbed and focused on my own projects that you haven't yet persuaded me to beautify your what you have.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want you to beautify what I have. I just want that one thing. And you're like, I can't just put a piece of paint on a canvas. I must do the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like, what about some extra clouds? No, what? That's not. Oh,
Extra clouds, that's just a single element on its own. That's not good enough. That's
yeah.
That's a tweak. We need
An overhaul.
It must have
And I'm
context.
like, no.
Yeah.
Not even a reasonable place to start.
Yeah. I think you've gotten really tired of hearing me use the word "this thing must have context," because that means like I'm spreading my influence to just like spread my tentacles into everything and just absorb like a monster.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank
No.
you.
No. Yeah.
I think I say my people say like, no, thank you. That is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want this one thing.
I just want to be able to go outside in the summer and not burst into flames. And you're like, but what's the true aesthetic of flame? No.
We need a triad of temperatures in this planet.
No, what? How do you feel about acid?
Yeah, hot, cold, and acid.
What trace elements can be added to the atmosphere so when you do burst into flame, it's the appropriate color?
Yes, it's like those birthday candles that all have
you
different
looked
color.
into radioactives?
You're always trying to sell me on radioactives, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. It's like how in old movies we always talk about you should always invest and get into plastic. Call them like radioactives, like just like get these weird things that make beautiful colors and aren't so
kill
good
your
for
people.
your biological form.
I'd be like, well, you could just leave your planet, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, so that is contention between us.
Perfect.
Real good.
So
I really like that.
Yeah. So at last.
So now I pick a relationship or a bond with Quasi.
Yes.
Okay. I want to go with that X-Lover one.
Cool.
Their player defines the relationship, and I say how it ended.
Damn.
That's neat.
So like, how like is your character quite like glorious and like magnificent? Do you think they have like a sort of grandioseness to them with their sort of like, you know, high taste and their sort of fine aesthetics, or is that
absolutely
not them? Okay.
The tentacles are like very fine in form. I've said before that I have flowing robes, so I have a very like intense and strange aesthetic going on, and it's all punctuated by my golden animal eyes. So I think I'm a very physically attractive creature.
Like, I'm quite into that animal stuff as well. So I'm guessing like maybe soon after I left the cult, and I was like trying to find my replacement fix, like you with that initial, you know, my first like, you know, replacement god, my thing to worship, and so that was the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Magnificent.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
I've been
let
staring
me-
at this picture for like 2 hours, being like, "This is what they keep talking about." I just.
Mhm.
Oh, and I'm sorry. How did it end?
Oh, I need to answer that. I'm not, I don't try to be reclusive, but I get so absorbed in my own visions that I begin to shut other people out. And it doesn't begin that way where I lose contact with you. Like, I spend all the time in the world with you, but I stop listening to what you say. And I start becoming apathetic about things that you try to get me to do and things like that. And I just become less of a person with agency around you. And I just get so absorbed in other things that relationships often don't work out. And I just become so distant. And yeah. Then it ends.
Cool.
I don't understand how someone who is put on a pedestal could then later become distant.
It's almost like the pedestal keeps elevating into space.
Very cool.
Perfect.
This really is science fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
What a world in which case that would be true. Can you imagine?
So now, Spook, I think you pick a bond with me, and then we'll go back the other way around.
No, I
Or
think
Or are we
we're
just gonna
good. I
keep
think
one
everybody has
okay.
has a
okay.
bond with everybody else, and I think they're all ace. Well, okay, the one between Quasi and Atalaska is is in game terms reciprocal, but even if in the actual definition of the relationship, it's kind of asymmetric.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So it's not two to each person; it's just two from each person.
It's how did I describe it before? Slightly complex. Okay. So it's until each PC either has a reciprocal bond or is the initiator of an asymmetric bond.
What kind of bond was our me and Quasi's bond?
It was asymmetrical, and I initiated it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's okay then. I'm good.
Okay. So, I think I think we're done with character creation. There.
Oh wait, no, I'm not done
Okay.
because they initiated the asymmetrical bond. I need to have either a reciprocal bond or I need to trigger an asymmetrical bond with them. Because picking bonds until each PC has a reciprocal bond or with each of the other's PC. So it's not a reciprocal bond, it's asymmetrical. So I need a connection to Quasi that either starts with me or is reciprocal from them. Because I'm not the initiator of the asymmetrical bond between us.
True. Okay. Yeah, you're totally right.
Okay. Which means Atalaska would need either a reciprocal bond or to initiate an asymmetrical bond with me. Because it's the same pattern.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Let me take a look. Mm-hmm. what's the political structure of your organization? Yeah.
It's a word that is the word I know. Egalitarian and open society. It doesn't really have politics.
Sure. It has no politics.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Egalitarian. It's fine, trusting society between friends.
Mhm.
Don't worry about it, Spook. You're thinking about too much.
I find the political structure of your organization objectionable.
That's fair.
And you get to choose whether or not these feelings go both ways. The reason I find it objectionable is because I feel like your organization lacks focus.
What? My and it lacks focus. Sure, it just lacks focus that you know about. Because and what do I get to pick for? What do I get to decide?
Whether you feel the same way that Atalaska's political structure is wrong.
Well, yes.
Because I just arbitrarily decide everything.
Yeah, I think you're wrong because you force your aesthetic on other planets. Like I think I find fault with your influence of others in a way that they're not okay with. Like I influence others in a way that they are okay with, except for this bond that I have with Quasi, which is what was it? Oh yeah, it's the political structure of the PC's organization objectionable. It's I don't like the way they keep secrets. I don't like the way they don't invite new, like, fresh blood into it. Like they're very stagnant to me, even though they do change as they evolve between class structures and they are different bugs. But I think the lack of unique prime souls is something I have a problem with.
That just tickled me because Prime Soul is the name of my guild in Warframe.
Nice. Well, it works out.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I suppose if Quasi took the time to think about it, they would probably also find yours objectionable, but they just are so, like, concerned with their thing. They haven't really considered the merits of yours. So I'm going to go with no. I might discover that I feel the same way about yours, but at the moment I don't. Okay. Everything thinks I'm a wrong'un. Okay.
Oh, but would it work better if I thought their PC organization was tragically backwards? Like, they're just one person.
We are tragically. That is.
They're just like. I think that worked better. Yeah.
And then you're not double dipping.
Because it's not the politics thing. Yeah, it's that one instead. It's they're trying to, like, they're still on one prime soul. Oh, sweets.
Oh dear. Oh honey.
Hello, prime soul. Okay, so I'll put. I say that a lot too, so that plays into my character being able to play them well. I consider Quasi's organization to be tragically backwards because it also fits with the prime soul thing.
I also want to go back and specify that even though I object to the way that you don't have focus, I'm interested how it still works.
Yeah. Like everything's laid out immaculately, because we have to defend ourselves from the planet that keeps trying to be terrible.
Yeah, I'm extremely curious about it, but I have dogmatic ideas.
Yeah. You're dogmatic. I'm idealistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and just to clarify, Quasi doesn't find
because they
Earth
don't
and
think about me.
civilization. Yeah. Civilization
Yeah.
backwards.
I'm not even on a blip on their
Yeah.
radar.
No, I mean, I
Which
think
is
about you,
great.
and it's not like that. I would more phrase that I haven't, like, I'm obviously aware of you, and I know, about, like, your collective. It's just that I don't make the judgment. That's it. I don't make the judgment of whether it is a good system or a bad system.
Okay. I also think that unless you're part of it, you don't really like. There's a lot of like, what is their system exactly? Like they're so loose, you don't have a thing. But if you're involved in it, it is very like
It's all about process.
it's all about process and patterns and information, but feelings, information feelings. The process and patterns of information feelings.
I love it.
Okay.
Okay. So
My favorite college course.
Yeah. So now I think we're actually done with character creation. There is another part, which if we were trying to get a game in this session would be terrible, but we're not. I think it'll work out just fine. Although I think the process of making characters is still game. Like there's
It's game zero for a reason.
yeah.
Still game.
So let me think through the actual rules document. Sort of linked this at the top, but I haven't. There we go. Play start. Okay. So you all get to decide essentially who the big bad is, or sort of a common known threat. There are actually only three choices. One is incursion by the Lords of the Outer Dark, and that means that Lovecraftian entities are attempting to infiltrate your solar system, or establish a foothold, corrupt those in power, that sort of thing. In addition to that threat, if you take it, there's the worry that if these beings do establish a foothold, that meta society will overreact and take sort of a scorched earth approach to cleansing the infection. The second option is corporate power grab. Some multi-system corporation is attempting to establish economic dominance in your neck of the woods, and they have immense resources and are tireless in their efforts.
I would not like that very much. Like my person wouldn't like it because they don't really have currency. So
exactly, humanity has spent all this time transcending capitalism, and then this corporation wants to come in and just control
elder
everything.
capitalists.
Elder capitalists.
And the last option is essentially PvP. There's like a state of tension already in existence between all of your organizations. So the populace is going to push towards escalation, and there's a good chance that you'll get caught up in it. Now, by PvP, I don't mean that you'll be killing each other, because death is obsolete. It's just not permanent. But oh, sorry about the ice cream truck. That is me.
That's the sound of the elder gods coming for us.
Yes. Coming to lure you in. But you can definitely mess with each other's organizations. There's a bunch of moves around that, and a thing that can happen if you run out of morale at Alaska.
You don't have
That
7
too.
morale? What, I mean,
is that your organization can go into schism, which means that you the organization as a whole gets smaller. It can go down to just like as small as gang sized. You go down one step. There's like nation sized, city sized, gang sized. It can get and the organization descriptors can get changed.
Mm-hmm.
those are the 3 choices.
Yes.
I would not like to fight my new friends.
Same.
I think it would be interesting to see how a capitalist would try to establish a currency on a planet or a system. I guess we're all sort of neighbors where we're all very like about our own thing and we don't care about universal currency.
Yeah.
But also elder
Mhm.
gods though.
Yeah, I mean, I do like, Eye of the Kagan and all that good stuff, but
Mhm.
the one thing that prangs me a little bit about the old gods is it feels a bit like binary of either like, the Reapers are here or not here, whereas like with the corporation, it's more of like this slow
Yeah.
trickle and
They're more insidious.
for interaction.
Capitalists are more insidious than elder gods.
And it's just like, how do you try and even do that flex in like a post scarcity? I think that's cool. But I'd be happy with any of them really. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I am making a game with elder gods in it, therefore I would not like to do that.
Okay. Capitalists,
Elder capitalists.
elder capitalists,
Okay.
really,
It is.
really old capitalists. What a unique society.
Yeah.
A good old gerontocracy.
Capitalists.
Done.
Oh,
Because
we
elder
get
gods-
runners now.
Elder gods
yeah.
can sort of like go against anyone's, and like you said, it is that binary of like immense power versus like little planets. But capitalists can just they weasel their way in. They're like little.
They tempt your populations with stuff and
Mm.
debt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's okay.
Credit
We got death
lines.
on death on this planet. Okay. Well, come right in.
We don't have death. Your memories
No,
are preserved.
debt. D-E-B-T.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Death. I was like death. Huh?
No,
death is
no, they don't offer that.
for post-death.
Okay.
Maybe they
That's
do offer that.
actually-
Maybe they offer death for like 100 years. We'll kill you and make sure nobody else can resurrect you,
Yeah.
and you'll have that freedom.
Vacation.
Yeah.
I mean, death's the reward in like my group. If you like complete a mission, then you get to die. You get to be like eaten by the goddess and like and that's like the ultimate thing that.
And you're really
we
just like
aspire to.
harvesting spinal fluid or something genetic.
Oh no, she's like taking them in to
Oh.
like, absorb their power. It's
Nice.
super vory. Oh.
Just gets real vory.
Mm-hmm.
Cut all the memes. It's good.
So the last thing is that you each pick 2 personal scenarios that are going on, and you can find those under Play Start. There's a whole list of them.
Well, I want to lift a new animal species. Uplift. Sorry.
Okay.
Cool. And I think I'm gonna pick like the creature that harasses us so much. Be like, they're here, but maybe if we could just talk to them, then they'd understand. If they could become part of our organization,
Yeah,
it would make things a lot
you have
easier.
dangerous fauna, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna pick that one. I suppose I should read the others. Because it says something you already have access to, so that makes sense because we already have that in our planet.
Where do these live on our character sheet?
They do not. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I've been putting them in under advancements where all the
Sure.
notes
Yeah,
Ah,
there's a
yeah.
place for it not.
bottom.
We will put it there.
Yeah. So many
So-
of these are so good.
I picked one that I really wanted, which is the Hacker Vendetta.
Okay.
A group of people with advanced mindscape skills are out to get you. If not tracked down, they will disrupt your organization and or pwn your communications. Yep.
Hackers. Banks.
Cool.
These are.
I have gone with post-human cult. Some of my members are going a little bit far with the with splicing and the cyborging, and it can produce unpredicted results, which sounds fun. And Autark Liberators, an outside source thinks that we're no bueno, and they want to
Cool.
a long, hard conversation.
Yeah. I was also thinking about that because, like, if like everyone's like, oh, the same mind, like that's not cool. True individualism, and I'm like, not about that. So we have those two.
Yeah, and it's totally okay if you take the same one. We
Mhm.
can make sure that the nature of the two are different.
Well, we could even tie it into the overarching threat that this corporate interest is the thing that thinks this way, and then maybe that is like a starting point between us. Just throwing things out.
Yeah.
So I mean, it couldn't be part of the same threat exactly, but it could certainly be related.
I was also thinking about independent disruptive project. Like, since my people are, yes, I don't like any of those words. Since my people are about not specifically facts, that there is a group or a collection. There are people within my organization that are like, what if it was about facts? What if we could just, instead of like having to search somebody's memory of going to the beach to find out where the beach was, we could just have like a list of information, and that's sort of like the antithesis of what we're about, because we're very empathetic and not just about facts, and they want to strip away all of that. Basically what I would think is corrupting the data of people's memories being brought back. Do you think that would work?
So I just want to make sure that that I correctly understand the nature of the difference.
Okay.
So one would be rather than having the information encapsulated in memories, it would be changing. They want to change.
Yeah,
like,
instead
their
of a
neural
movie,
structure, so
it'd be
they
like
have
a
direct
spreadsheet.
access to
Yeah.
the data.
The facts alone, the facts without context, which I think is a dangerous thing. Because without that context, then you could warp the facts to whatever viewpoint you have. I see you.
We have common ground.
Drumming your fingers.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or is that okay?
I think so. This down, so.
When you're ready, I got my last thing to pitch at you.
Facts without emotional context are dangerous. I'm just going to write that.
So yeah, facts or data without emotional context is part of the overall neural structure of the composition. Is that accurate?
I'm sorry, was that? I got the first part.
facts or data without emotional context is part of the overall neural structure of the composition.
Yeah, that's their project.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to strip away anything that's not a pure fact. Who's this pretty boy?
That's like what I was thinking of when I was talking about my dress sense.
Okay. So, yes, Adalaska, you had a thing.
I picked the same situation, but I think my Audark engineers are trying to are trying to like fuse atoms just to produce energy instead of restructuring the aesthetics of the planet. And I would have to like fight with them over the radioactive materials. Because they want to use it for energy, and I want to use it for beauty.
Got it.
You want to find a purpose for it. You're like,
So, we could go through defining these subgroups some, or if people want to go because it's already past 7 here, we can wind this up.
I'd like to wind this up.
yeah, I'm good staying until it's sorted.
All right.
When I said winding it up, I'd like to
End it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, that's totally fine.
All right.
and then we can come back to do this very soon.
Yes. So, Adam, what are you up to on the internet, and where can people find you?
I make a weird game called Mortally Bankrupt about being reality show stars that are watched by Eldritch Horrors. You can dig up that information if you go to my Patreon, and hopefully very soon I'll actually have that character sheet up and ready to go. I finally battled JavaScript and won, which took a long time, a good few months.
Having fought a little bit on character sheet, I am impressed. It's not easy.
Yeah. I'm super proud of myself. That should be
Hello,
done
everyone.
like I think by the end of the year. If I'm not done by the end of the year, I'm going to start playtesting anyway because I'm tired of not playing this game. That's me.
Cool. Dazer, what are you up to?
Hello. I'm Adazer. I am on Twitter at Adazer, on Instagram at Adazagram, on a lot of things as that. I do arts, and my Patreon is currently running, which you can find through my Twitter, RPG icons in a yearbook format, and also I'm going to be doing maps and adventures and bringing podcasts back. I did one last year that sort of fizzled out, but people's schedules have realigned, so that was very exciting. And I now know how to edit much better, so that's important. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Happy podcasting.
Yeah, more podcasts all the time. Non-stop D&D.
Spook, what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Spook. I do battle with clinical depression and play games. I don't have any social media, so get wrecked.
Such a millennial.
Well, cool. You know, hang in there with the depression. It's a terrible thing to have to fight, but happens to many, if not all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And for my stuff, let me see. Well, I'm working on this game, which I might actually publish that at some point if things go well. I'm definitely having fun just like occasionally running it and working on it. You can find me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/rpglory or on mixer.com/rpglory. Or on I screwed up the link, but youtube.com/c/rpglory, or if you want to yell at me directly, on
Please don't.
Outside the
it's
window.
okay, it's okay.
Between 3 and 5.
Anyway, on Twitter at rpglory, DOTCOM. I'll be back tomorrow to play some sort of game on the. Oh wait, okay. So tomorrow morning, I guess is it at 10 or 11 Pacific? I'm not certain. Adam and I
10.
are okay. 10 are going to create with a couple of others are going to create 4 games and play test them in 2 hours. Yes, that's actually possible.
We did it last
Did you
time.
do that? I was like, you did that before, right? That seems. And the
Yep.
first
Like,
time it seems.
like an
Looney
online
Tunes.
game jam almost.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll be
Yeah.
tuning in for that.
You can't tune in because it's going to be recorded instead of streamed because I am terrible at actually streaming.
That works for me because I work tomorrow, so I'll catch it later.
Yeah, the VODs are on my YouTube channel. Just search Dark Lavender Void Story Games on YouTube and it'll probably come up. Or Design and Destroy. Design and Destroy will probably help you find it faster.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The first one was a ton of fun. After that, I'll be playing some more games on the internet. I'm not sure whether we're going to do some more stuff on like a nascent burning wheel with Western injection, yes, burning saddles campaign, or whether we're gonna play as a different campaign that involves ninjas in space. It's wacky and cartoonish. But that's tomorrow at 4 p.m. Then on Wednesday, doing the another episode 0 of a game that's going to be a mash of Tales from the Loop and The Veil. That I'm also pretty excited about it. It should be really intriguing. Like it's going to be told sort of as the Veil is like a cyberpunk game that is more centered on like the PCs and their emotions than the Sprawl, which is a lot about the whole corporate dystopia. Interspersed with flashbacks to childhood where we're dealing with scenarios that are sort of like Stranger Things, the TV series. So check that out. That'll be at 10 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. And yeah, I think I've blown my horn enough. And
I forgot to say one thing.
Oh,
I forgot it
please.
last game. I also stream regularly, not like regularly, like time wise, but often at twitch.tv/theposhpanda for drawing and listening to Final Fantasy Remix soundtracks. In case you're into that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody, both for hanging out and doing this playtest, and for hanging out and watching this. Mr. Worst, thank you so much for staying around the whole time. That's super cool.
That's a lot of reading.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. Bye.
See y'all.